Well, hello everyone. Welcome to the Hockey Podcast. You can follow us on Twitter at podcast_hockey. Like us on Facebook, the Hockey Podcast. And this is a very historical moment. We are in beautiful Calgary, Alberta, Canada. And we are all not in the power of the internet. We are all actually in the same room, sharing microphones. Beside me and donned in red, blue, black, and a little green. But beside me is Chris, representing Pavel Bure and the old school Vancouver Canucks. How are you?
I'm well. How about you?
I'm good. Across from Chris, and representing the old school Canucks hat and the Vancouver. Do you have a name on the jersey? No name on the jersey. No name, but Sean is with us. Hello.
Hello.
And they're red and feeling. Do you feel sort of out of place at this point, Heidi, in your Flame jersey?
Absolutely not.
Okay. Representing Matthew Tkachuk. And all the way from Aruba coming in, joining the podcast. Hello, Devin.
Hello.
Are you sad?
It's bittersweet. I'm happy to be home, but definitely missing the sun, and definitely happy to be here.
Good. Yeah. And all the way from Terrace, his first time in Calgary in 17 years?
17 years, yeah.
Yes. And I think Dustin almost convinced you to live here. That's more of the conversation.
We really bonded over Cards Against Humanity last night.
Yes.
And trying to get me to stay for New Year's, but my day job says otherwise.
Okay.
It's really exciting to be here in Calgary for this and to see all of you in one spot. This is great.
Yes, and helping us with the recording, Manny from the Oilers Live IC podcast, and he gives a wave. So, we are here at the Pig and Duke. So for those that are listening that do not come to Calgary on a regular basis, and maybe representing the Canucks, Calgary's not considered a super tourist area. Go to the tower and Banff. But Pig and Duke.
Yeah, Pig and Duke is probably one of the better, arguably the best sports bar here in Calgary. We're here on a Sunday, so we've got all the football games on right now. But on any given night, when there's hockey on, you can, depending on who shows up and who asks for the TV, you can watch any games. You can get anything from Leafs games to Oilers games to Canucks games to Flames games. I think a couple weeks ago we were here and the Flames game got shut off because there was more Canucks and Oilers fans here wanting to watch the games than the Flames fans.
Fascinating. That is so interesting. In Calgary, the Flames game is shut off. That is quite interesting. And they have not only this location that we're at, which is 12th Avenue, 12th Street, they have the downtown one, and is there any other ones? Okay. Just the two. Okay. So come if you're coming into town, this would be one of the places to check out. Steven was going to come on the podcast, but he has other commitments, but I showed that to him. And Tyler, how are you liking Calgary so far as the official tourist? Because you can't consider me a tourist.
Well, I'm surprised at how warm it is for this time of year. I packed up the suitcase full of layers and sweaters and figured it was going to be pretty cold. I mean, I'm from northern BC, but it's very coastal and pretty warm. But this is like warmer than home right now, so I'm kind of excited about that. But beautiful. I think one of the underappreciated cities in Canada. It's nice to finally get another chance to be here and to actually get an experience being a road fan at an NHL game for the first time tonight.
Although maybe that's Heidi and I. Who knows? It's going to be more of. I'm sorry.
We may have to place ourselves in appropriate seats here, so everybody gets along.
and we also had an opportunity to check out some of the beer scene. We went to Outcast last night, Saturday night, and we went to Cabin. And there's a thriving craft beer scene. Is that a fair word? Thriving?
I would say that it's definitely exploded over the past couple of years. I want to say in the general Calgary area we're around 60 breweries now.
Wow. Cool. And Ryan, who is a mutual friend of a few of us here, is sorry, I can't remember what exactly his role is.
He's the head of production and head brewer of Toolshed Brewing here in Calgary, who are one of the bigger brands here in Calgary, but they're making some really good beers right now, and we can thank Ryan for that.
Cool. All right. Yes, and Drew and Dustin helped us kind of take in the new year. We may have argued about Star Wars. Tyler is probably having to move to Calgary, as mentioned. But, well, yeah, that was pretty much it. And Devin, can you tell us a little bit more about Aruba?
Oh, it was beautiful. We were there for 7 days over Christmas, and my girlfriend's family took us there. Very nice of them. A lot of beers, a lot of sunshine, a lot of food. Come back a bit bloated. I think I gained about 9 pounds. But yeah, it was a great time. Great time to get away and relax. But like Tyler said, it was warm here anyway, so it's not like I was missing too much.
Right.
So yeah, it was good.
Right. All right. Well, we got all the intros out of the way. Let's get into some hockey. And we will get into the Flames. We have a few debatable topics that we're going to get into, but we'll start with what unifies us, which is the World Juniors. And it was a tough night on Saturday, or a tough morning on Saturday, on 2 levels. They lost 6-0 to the Russians, which, you started off with a pretty good win against the U.S. You come back from a 2-0 deficit. You win. Laws stands on his head, or Laws or Dawes, sorry. I wanted to say Laws, but Dawes stands on his head a little bit. And then the Russians, we'll start with the game, 6-0. And particularly interesting from a Canucks perspective because of the way that Colson played. But from a Canadian perspective, how disappointed are you with the result?
Very. It was not the right effort there. They didn't show any pushback. They didn't show any enough emotion and heart to stop the Russians from doing everything that they did. They let the Russians skate through the neutral zone, gain the offensive zone way too easily, and then they were getting bullied by the Russians too. The Russians were starting scrums and getting right in the Canadians' faces, and there was no pushback, and that's unacceptable for a Canadian team.
They were out skating us, checking us, beating us to puck battles. Like, they just handily beat us in every way.
I always have a hard time mentioning the whole heart thing when we're talking about international competitions. But to me, it looked like a classic case of underestimating the opponent. They got that big win over the Americans. Maybe the feeling crept in, like, okay, we're good, we're going to be fine, on to the next game, and then just totally underestimated what they were facing with the Russians. And then once it snowballs so quickly like that, it's almost like they gave up on the game a little bit. And it's not must-win territory, but you are, concerned obviously with how it looks, and it didn't look like they were trying that hard. So, I don't know. Now we'll see how it goes against Germany. But a bigger concern was losing Alexi Lafreniere in the game, too. Yeah, that did hurt.
Yeah, no, it was definitely, frustrating to watch. I echo what you guys have all said. It just didn't look good. It just kind of got worse and worse as the game went on, and it became very frustrating to watch, to the point that kind of stopped watching. I'm not gonna lie on that one.
Did you see the game, Devin?
No, I didn't see the game, but it sounds like, you had the high of the U.S.-Canada game, and then, maybe got caught back on their heels thinking they had it, and I don't know, it's all hearsay for me, but that sounds like what happened.
What do we think? We'll get to the big controversy in a moment here, but I have 2 other questions. What do we think of the selection process that the Canadian juniors have undergone the last 2 years? Last year, Vancouver was a 6th place finish. They're not favored this year. They left some pretty interesting names off the team. Alex Newhook is not on the team. We had a conversation, Sean and I, with Derek Niemeyer, and he was not high on Bowen Byram being on the team. It was a surprise. What are we thinking about how Canada is making the selection process? Is this something that needs to be examined further? Or
say it's not anything that's. I think you always have to examine it and evaluate how you're making the selection program and making the selections. But the environment and climate of what and everything that with hockey has developed to a point where, especially in the World Juniors, Canada's not the overwhelming favorite no matter what roster they're going to pick. The States are really skilled and have depth. Russians are skilled and have depth. Sweden's on, a 50-game round-robin winning streak in the World Juniors? It's insane. And then Finland they're developing some really skilled players now, too. I think this is not. I think the issue is not necessarily the selection process, but the fact that the world is caught up to Canada, and we're just. They're still going to be in it every year, but one mistake here or there can cost them from being in the medal round.
I had such a good stretch for so long in the World Junior Tournament that now that all these other countries are caught up, we're kind of almost in denial of, we're not as good anymore. But in reality, the world has just caught up to us.
Yeah, we got to get past the idea that's going to be automatic every year for Canada in any hockey competition. Even in women's hockey, we're seeing now, Finland last year upset Canada. It's not automatic anymore. But you want to talk about selection process. I wonder how the management and coaching staff is selected, because ultimately they pick the team. They pick the style of team that they want. And then you see how it works out in the tournament. I'm not a believer that you have to pick, 1 through 23, the best players. You need to field the team you think gives you the best chance of winning, and that always. We've seen this with Olympic teams chosen. There's been some pretty big names left off, and yet those teams had success. So I don't know, between maybe going with the wrong management team and maybe their philosophies being wrong, and the fact that the competition is stronger. I think that's really all there is to look at. At the end of the day, the players on the ice have to get it done.
Yeah, Devin, did you have any? Heidi?
Well, when it comes down to picking a team, I'm with Tyler, and, I'm not picking the best players. You need to have your role players. You need to have good penalty killers. You need to make sure that you have a full, rounded roster, because if you have all this talent with scoring, then, your defense is going to suffer, right? So, I don't know. It probably does need to they need to take a look at it to make sure that they're making the right decisions. If you go back to the year of Taylor Hall, and Tyler Seguin didn't make the team, right? So, sometimes the best players don't make it, and from my recollection, I'm pretty sure they won that year. So, having a full, well-rounded team is probably better than top end.
I guess. Did you have anything to add on that? I guess part of my question comes down to, it's fascinating that Dale Hunter is the coach of this team. In a European ice, you're playing a physical game where skill seems to be a bit more in need of a premium. I'm not sure where I sit on that. Dale Hunter's obviously been successful, and I'm not going to ever question the guidance. But I don't know if he's a fit for this team at this time.
I guess we'll see how the next 3 games go.
Yeah, I guess that's true.
That's an original question. I think that doing an evaluation of how your selection process for the management and coaching staff, I think is something that needs more deeper look at than more of the players, because I do think having the right system can change how a team plays.
Right. Yeah, and especially different ice, different expectations. When they were down 2-0 against the U.S., they started to play very physical, and I don't know if that's always the best thing to do with European officials, who are very quick with the whistle. Maybe Tyler can speak a little bit more to that, being the referee here, but that's one of the things that has more popped in my head in terms of coaching. It's been fascinating to see. We had high expectations of Tim Hunter. That didn't work out. And Dale Hunter has a great pedigree, but I don't know, maybe he would have been better in an Edmonton Red Deer situation than he is in Europe.
That's a valid argument. In regards to the officiating, you can talk to Canada at the minor hockey level. In regards to officiating, I mean, even for Hockey Canada and minor hockey, you go to the provincial championship anywhere, they want everything called. They don't want it to be about anything other than skill being the way. So, the idea that we're going to blame the European officials, I mean, I think it's a bit of
that's blaming them, but I think adapting your game to where the ice and what is being played is the thing.
The size of the ice is a big factor, certainly, but, I think we get used to watching, professional hockey where, there's a lot that's let go and there's a degree of physicality, but in amateur hockey, whether it's in Canada or in other places, that the referees are told to call everything. They want everything called, and it does seem like at times like the Canadian teams either don't understand that or forget that or get frustrated with that. I don't know, Canadian junior hockey, I mean, I've gone to junior hockey games, junior A, major junior, I mean, there's a lot that doesn't get called. And I think then you go to these international competitions and they struggle with the adjustment.
Yeah, fair.
So do you guys know if they're playing on a bigger ice surface? They are? Or they're not?
I think it's a hybrid surface. I don't think it's international. I think it's more like Finland size.
I think the TSN guys were saying it was 91 feet wide. The 85 is the NHL size we're used to in North America. 100 feet is the Olympic size, so it's in between.
Because I've played in Europe twice at a high level, and it's a huge adjustment. If you're not used to that extra space, you're going to get caught out. And you got to keep your feet moving. You can't have your feet standing still. And it does benefit teams who have played on a bigger ice surface. So to me that'll be a big factor in it.
Yeah. And then the big controversy. So we have the handshake. We have the national anthems being played, the Russian national anthems being played, and the captain, Barrett Hayton, did not take off his helmet. Let's start there. Let's continue, because he did apologize for it after. First of all, I'm going to compare this to something that may or may not be comparable, because remember, we had the Lars Anderson incident in Buffalo. He tosses the silver medal into the crowd. The Canada was quite upset that this guy showed poor sportsmanship and wanted we're calling out the pitchforks for this guy. Although Barrett Hayton apologized, I'm seeing a lot of forgiveness for him. Is this a justified forgiveness, or does there need to be more of a consequence to this?
It's a justified forgiveness, I think. Comparing it to it's easy to compare it to the Elias Anderson medal toss, but he never actually came out and apologized for it. He never it was a lot more premeditated. Well, this was just a full on, lack of situational awareness of what exactly was going on. It was not done. There was no malicious intent to it. It was just a full-blown mistake. As a captain, he needs to be better, and he owned up to it. And I think you saw a lot of people say, he made a mistake, and we're going to move on. I think, and that's what people need to realize is if you make a mistake and you own up to it, people are going to be willing to give you the benefit of the doubt.
Yeah, no, I totally agree with all of that. And you gotta remember, these guys they're still young, they're teenagers. I know we all did stupid shit when we were teenagers too, and then didn't think about the consequences of our actions. And the fact that he came out and apologized, I think that was what he needed to do. So.
For me, it's disappointing. I mean, especially since it was already a bad loss, and now there's all this additional, discussion around the loss and how it looked. And in Canada, we pride ourselves on being this great hockey nation and about doing things the right way with class, and then all that goes out the window when something like this happens. I'll take him at face value that it was just a brain cramp, but. It's a really awful occasion to be having a brain cramp. But for the people that are outraged and want something to happen, well, what are you going to do? Change captains midterm? I mean, that's not going to happen. That's not practical or reasonable. I mean, you just have to accept it. Yeah, you have to accept the apology and move on from it. I would like to see something more, more than just a statement and some words in the media. It would be nice to see him go and make a mea culpa with the Russians in some fashion during the tournament, but I don't know how that would go, but I think that would go a longer way for his reputation and for Team Canada.
Yeah, I don't have much to add. I kind of fully echo what Tyler said. Yeah.
As far as the comparison of the medal toss in my mind was more, it was premeditated, but at the same time, that shows more passion than, not taking off your bucket during an anthem. That's way more disrespectful, and I would rather see, both situations are bad, but out of the two of them, I'd rather see the medal toss than not having your bucket off during the national anthem. That's disrespectful, but Heidi makes a great point. These guys are still kids. They're still learning, they're still figuring it all out. So give them the benefit of the doubt. And I agree with Tyler. If he can go and have some sort of reconciliation with the captain of Russia, that would probably be the best way to go.
Fair. Okay. Yeah. I mean, it's I don't think imprisoning him, serving him captaincy, but I agree. I would like to see something happen in terms of that. Is there anything else in the World Juniors that we do want to talk about?
I just wanted to mention the parity. I mean, through the first 2 days in Group B, everybody's 1-1. I mean, Germany's got a win, the Czechs got an upset over Russia. So really, right now, at least in terms of who's going to emerge out of Group B, it's anybody's tournament right now.
Yep, absolutely.
That, and I think we have to mention how just insane Niels Hoglander is, and the stones on that kid.
To do that goal right in first game of the tournament. Yeah.
Another lacrosse goal, might as well just start calling it the Hoglander at this point.
Spike me disagree. I mean, the eyes of the world are on you in a tournament like this, and he has the stones, as you say, Sean, to pull that off. He attempted another one, didn't score, I think, yesterday, but still, I mean, boy, for Canuck fans, it's pretty tantalizing.
Yeah.
As far as all the other lacrosse goals, Hoglander's in my mind showed the most skill, going in at speed and doing the pickup from the ice from that angle, picking it up around. I think that shows so much skill. Just filthy. It's beautiful.
And actually, after the Canucks game last night, one of the reporters asked Pedersen about what he thought about it, and he's actually said that he's practiced it and he would like to try it in the future. So who knows? Maybe Petey will pull that out of his bag at some point.
He has tried it in the game before, and it just slipped off his stick. So I won't be surprised if he pulls it off in the game as well.
No, I just have a question here. What do you guys think about more trick skill plays like that, and for instance, Tkachuk scoring an OT against the Predators? Would you be happy to see that happen more often, or is it more of a one-off situation? Because I can kind of see it getting old quickly, because I have seen Tkachuk try and do the between the legs multiple times after that, and it wasn't as successful. So what are you guys' thoughts?
I felt like Tkachuk's goal was more instinctual, though, in the sense of I don't think he was I'm planning to do this. Where I think the lacrosse goal, you literally at this point have to, unless it's instinctual, unless it becomes visual, you have to kind of plan it. It feels to me I even play-by-play with the Canadians, there's been a couple of times where people have tried it. One got the shot off, one didn't, so there seems to be a timing to it, but I wouldn't mind to see a little bit more skill or a little bit more trickery in hockey. I don't know, it just makes it more interesting,
The way the game is that it's not going to get oversaturated with those skilled plays. When they do happen, you're still going to be blown away, so more the better.
Yeah, bring it on. It makes the game more exciting, but it's not going to be sustainable on the fact that it's going to be happening every game, on a regular basis. So I just feel when it does happen, all the fans are still going to be excited for it.
My thought on that, though, is, I love, seeing stuff like that, but if guys are going to be concentrating on doing a cool lacrosse roll and all this stuff, that's somebody's going to give. They're going to not be they're thinking about that, and maybe they're not thinking about something else that's going on in the play. So, like, I don't want the game to be sacrificed in that sense, but yeah, like, I wouldn't mind seeing more of these kind of fancy play, but just, not too much not at the sacrifice of the rest of the game.
Throughout an NHL regular season, there's a lot of hockey that's just kind of blah hockey. You know, you watch, it's not a lot of excitement, not a lot of hitting, not a lot going on, you know. So, from in general terms, talking hockey, it'd be nice to see more of that kind of stuff, and especially risk-reward is just more excitement in general. But when it's your team and it doesn't go well, then it's like, whoa, okay, we don't want to do that. But it would certainly spice up the excitement level of regular season games if we saw players more willing to try those kinds of things.
What do you think, Devin?
Yeah, I see both sides for sure. My biggest thing is, you know, if players are trying to do these trick plays, you know, I don't want to sacrifice, you know, the hockey dynamic. You know, there might be a better play that could be happening, right? Than trying to do an amazing play like that. But on the other hand, you know, Tyler does make a great point saying that, you know, there's a lot of blah hockey, especially coming up with the next couple of months. You know, it's the dog days of hockey. And, you know, having something to talk about would be ideal, for sure.
Lacrosse, well, there's ways that people will start thinking about defending it. Like back in the olden days when it was the Wayne Gretzky and the wraparound, right? People started to figure that out. I feel like the lacrosse might be coming the new wraparound in some ways. So, but yeah. I just, you know, if it's an 8-2 game, I don't know if I want to see that on either side because you don't like. But in terms of like if it's in the moment, you know, I'm okay with it. I don't think we'll see a lot of that in the playoffs. I'd be shocked, but I think that's seeing the skill and it's interesting. So we're recording this before the Canucks Flames play tonight at the Saddle Dome. I guess this is how I want to kind of start this. I'm going to ask the Canucks fans, which are Sean, Chris, and Tyler, this. What has impressed you about the Flames, and what is your biggest concern about the Flames going forward in the second half of the season?
What's impressed me is their resilience and being able to overcome the issues with Bill Peters and going through that circus and coming out and just winning. I think Jeff Ward deserves a lot of credit in terms of how he's lightened the mood of the team and made them made hockey fun again and for them, and I think that's been the biggest thing for them. And they've got depth scoring, especially with the new lines that Jeff Ward has put together.
The line trio.
Yeah, the line trio. And then the concern I have is the same concern I had last year and I had the year before is their defense. I don't think their defense is fast enough. I don't think their defense can handle any team that can play at it. And
college football games on.
There's a football game on behind us, the Packers and the Lions.
And then we it's just you saw last year in the playoffs versus McKinnon and the Avalanche. The Hannafin pairing could not handle that speed. So I think that's the biggest concern for them going forward.
What impresses me with the Flames is just, you know, the teamwork there is really good, and it's an exciting product. They like Sean said, they've overcome the off-ice distractions with the coach and all that, and they really struggled to find their footing out of the gate, and now they have it clearly, right? And I think everybody can start to relax a little bit about the Flames. Not a guaranteed playoff team, but it looks, you know, pretty competitive. My concern for them is what I've felt in the past is that the star players have to get it done in the playoffs for them. They're too quiet in the playoffs, and it's up to the Monahans and the Goudreaus and those types to figure that out on their own. We'll see how it goes this year. I mean, they're becoming veterans and they're gaining that experience along the way.
Yeah, for me, the most impressive part was the resiliency that they showed, especially with all the controversy surrounding the head coach change. And as far as the weakness, I kind of have to steal Tyler's point of, like, it seems like when the big moments happen, other than maybe like Tkachuk in that overtime goal, like they don't have the guys that are showing up big clutch goals when they need them the most. So that's probably the weakness that I'd be concerned about.
Devin, we haven't heard from you since everything happened with the Peters and Ward situation. So maybe I would like to hear your thoughts now that the dust is settled.
Peters, it seemed like Peters was wearing on the players. The controversy aside, it seemed like, you know, the star players like Johnny, Manny, Backlund, they just kind of, you know, stopped listening to him, and you know, it happens with coaches.
Lost the room.
Yeah, lost the room for sure. And obviously having new blood with Jeff Ward is giving him a lot of life. You can see the weight. I specifically remember noticing Johnny for the first time this year, more than just once or twice a game. The game after Peters got let go and Jeff Ward got brought on, and you can see that confidence being built up again. So it's definitely been a positive. Having the music at the practices is huge. Just lightening the mood and making sure that, you know, all the players feel like they are contributing in the right way. And from what I hear, he's very good with just communicating with the players and making sure they know exactly what they need to do, shift in and shift out. So it's been really refreshing to see the Flames of the old, I guess.
Another big play.
Another big play on the TV behind us here. But yeah, it's been really refreshing. I've really enjoyed watching the Flames because at the beginning of the year it was a struggle to watch. You know, I was excited to see hockey again after a good break, but then it's refreshing. It's really nice.
So what did you think of what you guys have any responses to before we flip this over, or what the Canucks fans said about concerns or
my concerns? Well, I do like to watch Vancouver hockey because they do have the high-end skill of Pedersen, Besser. JT Miller's been amazing this year. You know, and the emergence of Markstrom last year and watching him grow this year, I think that is underrated. Is the Canucks goaltending tandem. Demko, when he comes in, he's solid, and that's huge. That's massive. Because obviously, if you look around the league, if you don't have a good backup goalie, you're losing points every 5 games, right? So it's I'd say their goaltending is really good, and the emergence of Hughes is huge. Watching him play the point, like I watched the Canucks and Kings game the first period last night before I went to bed, and Hughes, poise. He is pure poise. Every time he doesn't like what he sees, he does a little button hook, comes back in, and I saw him do that multiple times in the first period last night. So the emergence of him and watching him grow, I think, even just throughout this past half year, it is scary. But my concern is the depth of the Canucks. Your fourth line, you got Jay Beagle. I mean, he's a role player, which is what you need, what we were talking about before, having a full-rounded team. But I don't know. It's going down the stretch here. I think that'll be one of your Achilles heels.
Heidi?
Yeah, no, I kind of echo what Devin said, and I'm just finding it interesting, just from somebody who doesn't like watch it as much, but like seeing certain names being picked up with like the goals and stuff. Like it's not necessarily like Petey all the time and all that stuff. It's Vertanen and it's Dussel and it's like these other names, JT Miller, like seeing all that kind of stuff. So that's both, as a Flames fan, like could be scary for us. It's like, yeah, we could figure out how to work around the star players, but then get a little bit concerning on the depth like that. Yeah, I don't have much more to say.
I guess for me, it's really good to see, I think, establishing a captain, establishing officially that it was Horvat, I think helped. I agree with Devin about Hughes. I think he's shown amazing pose, and you can see that with Pedersen too. He continues to grow. You're getting Canucks are getting scoring for everywhere. I think my biggest concern about the Canucks going forward is the fact that they are struggling. And even towards the Kings game, yes, they got the goal quickly, but they did blow a 2-0 lead. Markstrom faced 50 shots. I'm not sure if he's playing tonight. I haven't looked. But that is I think the biggest concern is it's either the defensive structure or this defensive core or something that is not allowing the Canucks to hold on to a lead. Now, there were points where they weren't getting the first goal, but I think that not being able to hold leads, especially in the second half of the season, is going to be a concern for me.
As far as defense goes, that's a 5-man commitment. It's not just the 6 players that are on the back end. The forwards have to be committed to the back check and playing their position in their own end and picking up trailers and all that kind of thing. And so the youth of the Canucks in certain areas is showing there at times. And then if they lose one of their regular 16 men, then it really starts to show. Like when Edler was not playing, it was really showing how porous they were on defense. That to me has always been a concern. And it seems like over the course of the season there has been a regression in the quality of the defensive play. But hopefully here they'll be able to start turning that around.
Yeah, I feel like our youth is both our biggest pro and also our strongest con, because it allows the guys like Petey and Hughes to show off their skill, but then also if there's any sort of lack of defensive play or lack of 200-foot game, then any defensive weaknesses are going to be exposed.
Yeah, I think with the Canucks depth, when they're on, it's just inconsistent. When they're on, it's good. They're getting scoring from 3-4 lines, but when it's hot, they're needing Pedersen and Besser and the level line and to really step up, and they haven't always, but that's going to happen. I do think we need to. Hopefully, we get to see Bo Horvat step up and start producing, especially at home, for the second half of the season, because I think that's been something that hasn't been there to start this season. I think part of it is he is sort of trying to figure out how well with Sutter and Beagle out for such a long, he was given such hard matchups, and I think he struggled with that, and hopefully with a much more healthy lineup, they'll be able to figure out a way to help him get better matchups and get his offense back going.
And the other thing is that the expectations of you guys I would say you guys, Vancouver, going into the season wasn't that big. Benning did make big moves, right? But everybody else in the hockey world had you guys not written off, but it was still building, right? And you guys they are still building, and that's the positive is that you guys are young, and there's still a lot of time to grow. And if they make the playoffs this year, that's a win. Period. Yeah. And you might not get past the first round, but that experience is going to be huge going forward, right?
Especially for all those young guys that are under 25.
So who has more pressure on them, the Flames or the Canucks in the second half?
Sorry, I didn't hear you.
So who has more pressure on them, the Flames or the Canucks in the second half?
Flames for sure. Canucks don't have much pressure. I mean, how well they've done so far this year has put them more pressure on them, but the grand scheme of things is Calgary needs to get past the first round and show that they're a playoff team. The big guys need to be going: Gaudreau, Monahan, Backlund. The emergence of Riddick has been huge, and I think making sure that Talbot gets starts so we can give Riddick a chance in the playoffs is imperative. But yeah, definitely Calgary over Vancouver.
Yeah, I would agree. Just because Calgary's rebuild was 3 or 4 years before Vancouver was trying to do the same thing. So I feel like if there's any pressure, it's probably more so on Calgary just because they're that far ahead of the curve in their rebuild.
Yeah, if the Flames don't make the playoffs this year, I don't know what happens next, but that'll be a pretty big failure for them. I mean, a lot of moves have been made. There's been coaching changes under Brad Curley. Where do they go from here? If they don't make the playoffs, if they make it and don't get past the first round, well, I guess it just depends on how it goes. Like last year, they just got steamrolled so badly by the Avalanche. If it's a more competitive series and they don't advance, then I think you probably take the same team forward in the next year and try again. But worry about making the playoffs first. But so there'd be that pressure on the Flames. For the Canucks, if they are still in the race, in the final 2 weeks of the season, then we'll see what they're really made of. If they fall short, there'll be an awful lot of disappointment with that, and people questioning whether they were able to handle that pressure.
And we all know Canucks Twitter will definitely make their opinions vocal.
Yes,
in very reasonable fashion.
It's a very reasonable group of people.
I do think it's the Flames, but we can't undersell the pressure that's on the Canucks because of that JT Miller trade.
Right.
They've got that conditional first-round pick that's going over to Tampa, whether it's this year, the 2020 or 2021, and all depending on whether or not they make the playoffs. If they make the playoffs this year, then they hand over that pick to Tampa, which... Like this upcoming draft is supposed to be really deep, like one of the more deep drafts in recent memory. So even you're going to get a really good player, even in the 10 to 15 to 18 to 20 range. But you don't want to go into a situation where just like Ottawa was last year, where they had to make the playoffs, otherwise they were giving Colorado a lottery pick, and same situation that San Jose's in this year. So if they can get rid of that question mark this year, then that helps the Canucks a lot in terms of alleviating pressure, especially on the management team for giving up that first round pick for JT Miller.
I'm echoing what everybody else says. Like, this was what happened at the beginning of this year with the Flames, and just the disappointment of the last year's playoffs. Like the pressure is definitely on them to make it there and to do well and kind of get. The problem with them last year is that they kind of didn't face any adversity. So with the there's been a lot, like, it's been completely opposite. There's been a ton of adversity this year. So just to see how they react to that and whether that they can turn adversity into the playoffs is be fascinating to see. But I'm sure if you guys don't get into the playoffs, I'm looking forward to seeing what Canucks Twitter will just
give a Manny better move.
You mentioned the adversity thing, because that really was what happened to the number one seed in the East as well with Tampa Bay. I mean, they just cruised through the regular season, and then they faced a stronger opponent for whatever reason in the first round, and it was over before it even started.
Do the Flames have to win the division?
No, I don't think so.
No, I don't think so either. As long as they make the playoffs and make it at least to the second round, I feel like that'll alleviate the organizational pressure that's on them this season. But if they don't make it to that second round, I think that's when pitchforks might start coming out.
In terms of a playoff matchup, would it be better to not win the division and not face one of the... I think... Is it fair to say that there's going to be more of a chance there's going to be two Central teams coming out of the wild card as opposed to from the Pacific? It's not. I think maybe we get a split, but I think it's more highly likely that it's going to be 5 Central, 3 Pacific. Are we there?
No, I think it could be 4-4.
Okay.
No, I think it's a 50-50 shot that it's a split. Now, I think people continue to underestimate how good the Pacific teams are, or just how equal they all are, and you've got teams like Minnesota, Nashville, and Chicago, and all just not playing the way a playoff team should. And the standings show it right now. The Canucks are in a wild card spot, and I don't foresee them being like it could happen, but I think it's going to be really close to see whether or not we get to two Central teams versus. I think there's a possibility you can get two Pacific teams.
Yeah.
You got the Oilers, who are, you never know what you're going to get every night. Like, if they can get on a hot run here again in the second half, then there might be a chance. But you never know. I think there's a lot of parity and equalness with the teams in the middle of the conference.
The Oilers, the Coyotes, the Flames, the Canucks, you look at those teams, they all have as reasonable a chance of making the playoffs as one another.
But in terms of matchup, I almost think if the Flames didn't win the division and faced an Arizona, as an example, it might be better.
I think it would be better. Arizona doesn't play. They didn't play a suffocating brand of hockey. They're not flashy. Yes, they just got Taylor Hall, which gives them a little bit more pizzazz, but they're not a Colorado of last year. They don't have they just don't have the depth of the flashiness of like a higher brand hockey. So they're very much a trap oriented team, and I think Calgary would be able to wear them down in a 7-game series.
Yeah, I think it's going to be about matchup. So, by the way, Manny, when we talked about the Oilers and what's going to happen, he made a face. So we'll just leave it at that. We'll let that imagination run there. But in terms of for the second half of the season, who is more set up to win the division or go for a playoff run? The Flames or the Canucks?
Just because they're kind of ahead of us in the rebuild curve, I'd probably say Calgary has that edge, but I would also say don't count out the Canucks.
It's closer than I think a lot of people would have expected at the beginning of the year.
Yeah.
But I do think just with the experience that the Flames had last year, the depth of scoring that they have, with the line jiggle, having a pairing of Elias Lindholm and Matthew Tkachuk to go as a second pairing and moving Backlund off of that, and I think it's really rejuvenated the offense for the Flames, and I think that is probably going to give them the edge for me.
I would have to say Calgary has the edge on experience, although one thing I would say is you got to be careful not to overwork David Riddick. If he starts getting overworked down the stretch, that could be really disastrous for them.
Yeah, I echo all of this. I do think the Flames have the edge, but like as Chris said, I don't think we can count out Vancouver at all. I don't know. You just never know.
Devin?
Yeah, I think Calgary has the edge just from experience. I think Sean's talking about the second line, or arguably the first line, whichever way you want to think about it, of Elias Lindholm and Matthew Tkachuk. The emergence of Mangiapane, I know it's only been one game, but I think that's just a tip of the iceberg of what he can bring to the game. And the other thing is that he's fearless. Yeah. He goes in the corners, he's gritty, he'll stand up to anybody in front of the net. But overall as a team, I'd say Calgary has an edge. But also, once again, I agree with Sean. I think it's a lot closer than everybody would have expected, for sure.
Yeah, and that's why I brought it up, because I don't think people I think there's the Flames are up here and the Canucks are here, but I think the Canucks are growing, the Flames, I don't want to say they're shrinking, but they've had to adjust a little bit, for sure.
Plateau.
Yeah.
Well, that's what makes the next matchup so interesting, right? Is we're going to see them head-to-head for the first time in a while, and who does match up best with one another?
If the Canucks win, they actually pass the Flames in the standings, so...
Yeah,
good one.
Big game. It is a big game. So, I'm going to stir this up a little bit more here. We'll start with the last of Flame fans this. Who's the most overrated Canuck?
It's a hell of a question. Most overrated is Petey. I'm just kidding. Tyler just took a huge, deep breath. Deciding not to punch me in the face. As of right now, I want to see not overall. I know he's not overall the most overrated, but I want to see more out of Besser. Besser needs to play better. He needs to show up and get back to that confidence, that swagger that he had from his first year in the league. As of right now, yeah, I'd say Besser.
Yeah, I mean, if I was a Flames fan having to answer this question, Besser would be my choice too.
He's actually mine too, it's hard to call anyone on the Canucks super overrated, but I feel like he's the closest. He's the closest to it. And it's not that he's bad. I do think that it's fair to expect a little bit more from him.
Yeah, like I mentioned before, like what I kind of see by following Canucks social media and all that stuff. Like I'm not seeing that name on highlights, and I'm not seeing that name. And I was like, oh, I thought that's one of your big guys. Like, why am I not seeing that?
You say that, but he's also only 2 points off of point per game pace this year. He's been a very quiet producer for the Canucks this year. He hasn't had all the big flashy goals that he had over the last couple years, but his overall game, his 200-foot game, his board play has drastically improved. Like, I completely understand where you're coming from, but you're wrong.
It's hard. It was hard for me to pick one, though, to be honest. That was the closest that I had.
Well, that's because the hype machine doesn't work as hard for the Canucks as it does for other teams.
Yeah.
Is that a shot at Toronto?
Not just Toronto.
We're looking to the left.
But it is fair to, like, as far as an eyeball test, it is kind of fair to say Besser's kind of underperformed this season as far as the offense. Like Sean said, the point that he has on has been sneaky and you might not notice it, but as far as just being like the flashy self that he was in his rookie season, definitely is not there this season.
It's playing without the puck. I mean, it would be an area where I'd like to see some improvement. But, then again, I mean, look, he was not a top 10 draft pick. He was a 23rd overall. I think he's exceeding expectations for a 23rd overall, despite this conversation right now.
The biggest thing with Besser is I want to see more movement off the puck on the power play from him. That's the biggest thing I think it's missing from his game right now. The Canucks power play can look great, but it can look very stagnant and very useless at times. And part of that is it's very easy to defend them at times because there's not enough movements, and the off puck movement is not there yet. If you look at, because he plays that offside one-timer spot, and if you look at the best players who play that spot, Stamkos and Ovechkin, they're moving up and down the zone all shift. And I find Besser ends up just sort of sitting on the top of the circle a little too much.
Trying to cherry pick almost.
Do you think that's lack of coaching?
I think that's just, I'm not, there's a lot of people who ring the praises of Newell Brown as a power play coach, but I'm really on the fence with him because I just don't, I see the Canucks power play being so much more dynamic if they can get more, if they can be more creative, and right now they're just giving the puck to Hughes at the top of the point, and all he's trying to do is feed the one-timers to PD and Besser, and it's very, very easy to defend at times.
Okay, so right now for Flames fans, who's that one guy on the Canucks? Because it used to be historically there was Bieksa, there was Burroughs, there was Kessler. Even the Sedins got it a little bit, but I think the Sedins, it's fair to say the Sedins came away with respect. Kessler, Burroughs, Bieksa, I don't think is respected in Flames land, at all. But who now on the Canucks is like, good God, I hate this guy?
I don't know if there's a number one guy like that. I think a guy that could be like that would be Roussel. He can really put a bird in someone's saddle, But I don't know, going back to, we had Kessler, Bieksa, Burroughs. Yeah, we hated them, but we respected them as players. I'm sure you asked that question about, the Flames to the Canucks fans.
Tkachuk, right?
Yeah.
But ask John's feelings about Tkachuk.
What Heidi's jersey is wearing right now.
He's a rat.
Heidi loves it. It's wonderful.
But what made Kessler, Bieksa, and Burroughs so much to hate is because they had that piss and vinegar and also had the skill to back it up. And as of right now, I don't see anybody on the Canucks that is really, one of the core players and has that reputation.
Heidi, did you have an answer? Is there someone you hate?
I have a love-hate relationship with Petey. Just because he is so good, and I get scared when he has the puck and all that stuff. Just only just because of that. But other than that, no real, no BX, no. I mean, Ferland, maybe, if he kind of brings back the same thing he had when he was in Calgary, he turns kind of into that player from Vancouver, I could see Ferland turning into that.
Yeah, we need Ferland back.
That's great.
Jake Virtanen should be that player too. He's starting to get there.
Yeah.
He's starting to play with that. And with that, in today's day and age, that doesn't mean going in for big hits and all that. That just means getting in someone's way and annoying him. Getting him to push back and get him off his game. And he's starting to do that.
I've said this before, with Virtanen, facial expression could just irritate the hell out of
Yeah.
players. And Roussell's one of those guys as well.
He has come a long way this year, no question about it. So,
And with Devin talking about having it be a core player moving forward, I feel like Virtanen definitely could be that player. The fact that he's taken a while to become the power forward that we've always wanted him to be, it's we might be a little impatient in that regard, but I feel like the promise that he shows is going to be worth it if it pays out in the long run.
who's the most underrated Canuck?
Jake Virtanen. Only because I like him. I like my friends being tortured by having to shotgun Jake every single time. And then I found out that it seems to be a big thing if he gets 20 goals. And I was like, oh no, he needs to get way more than that. So I'm going to say now that he's going to. He would be my most underrated player. Just solely for, not actual reasons.
Well, Torture getting killed on Twitter today for my attempt at chugging that beer last night.
Sip Gun Jake, I think. I was called Sip Gun Jake, so for that.
Padawans, you have much to learn.
Yes.
As far as underrated, I got two. I got Bull Horvat. I think over the entire league, I don't think people recognize him enough for what he does one of the reasons why he became captain. And my other one is Alexander Arthur. I think that he is very underrated in what he does and what he brings to the Canucks. Now, I don't know if that's because of the lack of depth in the Canucks organization, but he plays 20-plus minutes a night, and he was on the power play. He's on penalty kill, too, right? So, he's very underrated.
And just look at our record when he was injured. I think that speaks for itself.
Yeah, and then the other bonus, too, is he's affordable right now for the Canucks as well. He's a pretty friendly contract there that he signed, so in this past offseason. So in all regards, you got to appreciate Alexander.
I agree with that for sure. I think he's actually underrated with the Canucks fan base too.
I was going to say, I don't think the Canuck fan base truly appreciates, I know that there's people out there that have the science, why are you playing this guy so much, but you even look at the Montreal Canadiens and what Shea Weber has brought to this team, and that trade was panned, but I think the Canadiens have ended up kind of winning that. And what Giordano does for the Flames, we'll get to them in a second, having that veteran presence on the blue line, I think just makes such a huge difference. And even a little bit, I have to say Chris Tanev might be on that list too. I think that there's been jokes about him surviving the year. Fair, but I think he's been really. He's shown some Bobby Orr this year, and I think he's provided some toughness. So that would be another one.
Okay. I find it a little amusing that the two underrated players also are the last two holdovers from the 2011 team.
Yeah. Fair. Okay, Canuck fans. We'll start with the hatred because I think that this is going to be easy in some ways. So who's that? Who is that guy? Is other than Matthew Tkachuk? Is there anyone else, or is it easily
underrated? Pass is Rasmus Anderson. He's in every scrum too. I've noticed that. I'll probably be yelling at him a lot tonight. So
it's really hard for me to warm up on Milan Lucic. He's a BC guy and everything, but just I just have such a hard time with Lucic. It doesn't matter what uniform he's wearing. This isn't just because he was a Boston Bruin in 2011 and all that, but it's just his reputation. I don't know, I have a hard time with him. But as far as underrated Flames, that's a tough one for me. But yeah, I don't know. I don't really have an answer for that underrated question.
For easy to hate. As much as Sean likes to give Tkachuk the gears, I do think that he is actually one of the strongest guys. So I'm gonna give him the benefit of the doubt here, and I'll jump with Tyler and say Milan. I just cannot really get behind cheering for him. I will admit that he has fit in better with Calgary than he ever did with Edmonton, but I just can't ever cheer for the guy. There's just something in me that won't allow it.
For me, it's just he's such a poor sport. I think that's where it starts with for me.
And as far as underrated, I'd probably have to go with Devin and say Manny.
How have you guys warmed up to Lucic?
I love Lucic. I don't know. I think he's brought a certain element to the team that I think that maybe they were almost trying to do, sort of with maybe even with James Neal last year. They try to bring veteran presence. It's a way kind of different story and different skill level. But that guy seems so happy to be on that team, just culture wise on that team and chemistry wise, and they all love him on that team. So yeah, definitely him.
Yeah, Lucic. I love him. I think he's great. I think it's just the fact that we were expecting James Neal to be this top 6 guy, and Bill Peters probably didn't give him that chance. But regardless, the body language that James Neal brought last year was so frustrating. The lack of give a shit and the lack of care was zero. It was zero. And so having that switch from a bona fide 20-goal scorer every single year to Lucic, who has more grit and more of a role player, which we were missing, I think that's why we like him more. As far as a pest, I think someone who you probably wouldn't think of but is underrated is David Riddick. He is fiery, and he will give your guys a hack in front of the net if he feels like he's being pushed around a little bit, right?
Do you think a year behind Mike Smith helped with that?
Potentially, yeah.
That kind of sounds very Mike Smith.
He may have learned some acting skills from Mike Smith as well.
Yes. It's true.
Hey, no one will top Dominic Hasek.
No, that is totally fair.
And Marty Turco's up there, too.
Yeah.
Who helped Mike Smith, become a better puck handler back in Dallas, too. So, yeah, a lot of fire there.
Hockey's a small world.
It is.
I think Milan Lucic is probably one of the biggest surprises on the Flames. Because I honestly was I think this guy might be in Stockton at some point this year. That's
spicy.
An argument to be made there.
Yeah, I honestly was what? At the time of the trade, I'm how is he going to really help this team? He was slow. He's still slow. But he has found a way. I think really when Heidi and I interviewed Torrey Peterson and just how he's fit into the team, I agree with Heidi in terms of the culture, and I think it's allowed other players to play their game a little bit better. I think when the line jiggle happened and Gaudreau was thrown with Ryan and Lucic, a lot of people looked at that as a demotion to Gaudreau, but I wondered if it was just to get, okay, we're going to give you some space to be John Gaudreau, where Bill Peters didn't allow you to do that. We're going to let you play with Lucic a little bit, get your game back, because no one's going to touch you with Lucic on the ice. Like him or not, no one wants to fight Lucic. That's just what it is.
He is kind of the Semenko of Flames.
Yeah. So,
So hold on. going back to your take, going down to Stockton, oh man, a $6 million player in Stockton, I don't see how any GM would consider that unless they are very noticeably not an NHLer. But like the culture thing was massive. I think Edmonton signed him to a massive deal, right? And I feel like the expectations of him up in Edmonton were too large for him to, at his age, at his mileage, at the way that he played and the way that the game is at, he couldn't be that $6 million player, right? So I do agree with you. I think he's helped Gaudreau gain a little bit more confidence because there's not as many times as I see Gaudreau getting slapped on the hands anymore when they're on the line together. But yeah, I agree. Yeah.
I think for me, I didn't. With the speed of the team, I didn't think he would keep up, and I was like, look at the Canucks and Louis Eriksson. I mean, they've had this debate. I mean, I know you don't want to put down a $6 million guy, but if he's not cutting it, why is he there? But he's made an impact, and I think he's been one of the more pleasant surprises for the Flames.
What definitely turned it around, and from the first, let's say under the Peters and then post Peters, I feel like he's definitely totally turned it 180 degrees since Jeff Ward got the coaching.
See, the whole thing with Eriksson, though, is, what does he bring to the table? He doesn't bring toughness. He's supposed to be scoring, and he's not. So what else does he bring? Is he...
little things. Little things.
So, what he's more so talking about, what Butcher was referencing was more so his defensive game. He's actually defensively responsible, and you can rely on him to not allow a 3-on-1 going the other way, sort of thing.
When Eriksson has played and has played as a fourth liner, he's been able to do that job to the coach's satisfaction. It's just, of course, the contract is always the thing that's a very expensive fourth liner. On a fourth line, it's already got the expensive Jay Beagle there, and that's an overpay for the same reason. Bringing in a guy in free agency, in Beagle's case with the Stanley Cup ring as well. So that's the problem with it. It's not that Louis Eriksson can't provide fourth line play; it's just really expensive.
And it's not necessarily anything that other good players can't bring as well. And that's what he's really on the roster because of his contract. Even if he was making around $3 million, he'd probably be sent out.
Longo, his contract sucks.
Yeah. Right. Who's the most overrated Flame?
Matthew Tkachuk.
Whoa!
Tell us how you really feel.
I don't feel that way. I think Tkachuk's great, but until Monahan and Gaudreau do something big in the playoffs, I'm always going to feel like they're underwhelming as a neutral party watching them play.
Honestly, I would say it's Monahan. I don't think he's a number one center. I think getting splitting Lindholm away from them and giving him the center spot's been huge. Like I said, I think he's a better option as a number one center than Sean Monahan is. And I think if things go sideways and the Flames have blow up and don't go far in the playoffs, I think Monahan could be the first one out the door.
I can't really disagree with that. At least from an eye test, he's always kind of been the one Flame that I've heard the most hype for, but haven't seen the promise that the Flames fans are hyping.
No, honestly, I have to agree with you guys on that. And in the same sense too, I kind of feel the same way about Johnny too. It's really nice when those two are on fire and their puck chemistry and stuff is all really good. But lately, I've just been lacking in seeing what the hype is anymore. And it's all these depth guys that are now emerging, and so yeah, until I can be impressed again, I completely agree.
Definitely Monahan. I think him being slotted in a second line center He's been splitting it with Backlund, which I think is fantastic. Backlund being more defensive for Johnny and Manny. It's been a big change. It's been nice to see. But I thought that when Monahan went onto that line, I thought that Backlund would be taking more of the draws. But actually, Monahan's been taking more of the draws, and Backlund's been more of a winger. He needs to step it up. Maybe he's being slotted where he needs to be as far as just
He's definitely not a number one center.
No, down the roster. I feel like Lindholm is definitely a way better first line center. So yeah, Monahan for sure.
So I'm going to throw a loop because my first vote. I actually wrote Tyler. I would go Gaudreau because I don't remember a moment in a big game when Johnny Gaudreau stepped in. I remember Johnny Gaudreau complaining to officials, but I don't remember a Johnny Gaudreau big moment. But this year, I know he won a Norris. I know he's the captain, but there's been. Like Edmonton, at times, there's people hard to criticize. I feel like in Calgary, there's a restriction of criticizing Mark Giordano. And I do not think Mark Giordano has been that good this year. I actually think he's probably been the fourth best defenseman on the Flames this year.
I was going to joke and say, how dare you talk ill of Dad?
Well, sometimes Dad is not being Dad. And younglings have grown and...
I don't disagree with that at all. Like he hasn't looked good. He hasn't had that flair in the whatever he was doing last year. Like it really sucks. But yeah, I don't think that's that. And if you were to say it on like Flames Twitter or anything like that, people will agree with you. Like I don't think. It does feel bad. It does suck to criticize him.
Yeah, because he's been such a pillar to the community for sure. Who's the most underrated Flame?
I want to say Derek Ryan. I think him. He can move up and down your lineup easily. He does do little things right. When he needs to be noticed, he's noticed. When he doesn't need to be noticed, but he does little things right. You do notice him. I'd say Derek Ryan or Rasmus Anderson.
I'm absolutely with Derek Ryan. Like he's such a good player, and like I'm hearing more and more too. Again, like he's stepped up in terms of being like a little bit of a better presence and being a role model for some of the other players and stuff. So yeah, for sure him.
I'd say Ryan. I also might put Travis Hamonic on that list a little bit. I think he's been a warrior this year. But I think Derek Ryan would be my vote. Do you Canucks have some things to say?
I think Derek Ryan's in there. Manny Pandy's in there as well because I don't think people realize how good and how good of a depth player and addition that he is. But yeah, I do get going back to the whole line table thing too. One of the reasons Derek Ryan got that third line center role out of that was because he wanted him. Jeff Ward wanted him to play with Milan Lucic because of handedness. Because it fits Lucic's style better to have a player shooting the way Derek Ryan does. So I think if we were going to go a little bit new atmosphere with Derek Ryan.
I will be the one thorn in everyone's side and say that I'd probably go with Rasmus Anderson. As far as media not talking about him compared to Flames fans hyping him up, I would say that's probably like the biggest off balance that I've seen as far in that regard. Like the Flames fans love him, but I don't ever hear the media talk about him, so I'd probably have to say he's the most underrated for me.
That's fair.
Because Anderson, whenever there's, the last couple minutes of a game, you see Gio and Anderson out there. You don't see Hamonic, you don't see Hanifin, you don't see, for the love of God, keep TJ Brody on the bench. Thank you. I agree. Yeah, Anderson, he's definitely underrated, for sure.
Okay. I think we covered all of that. What is the one story in Canuck land that is not getting enough attention.
Like from this season, you're talking about?
Yes. It's tough in Canuckland because everything gets attention in Canuckland. But like, if you're not following Canuck Twitter as closely,
Yeah, I would say that Tyler Myers hasn't been really appreciated very much. You know, it's a fairly significant free agent signing. And the guy moves really well for a big man out there, and you know, the teams. We talked earlier about their defense regressing as the season's gone on, but it's still been better than last year, and especially the years before that. And he's a big part of that.
The issue with Tyler Myers is he's not getting the production that you want out of the big ticket.
He'll never live up to that, like, first couple of years that he had in Buffalo, that's for sure.
Like, you're paying him $6 million, and he's only got 1 goal and 10 points in the 39 games he's played. As good as he's looked, and as good as he's played at times, the production is really holding back any sort of praise that he's going to be getting. The one I would say is actually Chris Tanev and his play, and him staying healthy, and it being a contract year for him. Canucks need to sign him, and going back to him being underrated, I think he's one of the things that makes him really underrated, because this isn't something that the fans see. It's that just like how important the locker room morale is. I don't think people realize how important Chris Tanev is to the Canucks room. There's a reason he has an A, even though he's a very soft-spoken player.
On that same note, I'd almost say that Roussel probably is undersold as far as a leader in the room, too. Like, he might be like that pesky third-line grinder type player on the ice, but he's actually huge in the room as far as welcoming the young guys, as far as mentoring them, but also just as far as being that glue for the team.
For me, one of the other underrated stories with the Canucks, I think, is Adam Gaudette and his development this year. I mean, that Gaudette, Roussel, Virtanen, I was thinking Virtanen would be a perfect winger for Horvat, but that line is just, I think, it's hard to would say probably it's been the second best line consistently this year behind the Lotto line. And Gaudette's development, I mean, that call doesn't get overturned in Montreal. That's probably a win. Gaudette gets 2 goals, and we're having a different conversation about it, right? So I think his development and what was expected out of him, I think it's been a quiet story that, you know, I think it's helped for Virtanen be Virtanen in a lot of ways.
Yep, can't disagree with that.
What's the under? Oh, go ahead.
When we went into the beginning of the season this year, Gaudette was one of those bubble players who everyone's like, how are they going to find a way to keep him? Like, what is the best for him for development? How are they going to keep him and all that? And he played his way onto the team.
Yeah.
And then, unfortunately, just with health and Sutter playing well, Beagle playing well, he wasn't able to get into that third line role until the injuries came. But once he got that opportunity, he's run with it. And he is an official, bona fide third-line center in the NHL now with really good offensive upside. The Canucks now have PD, Horvat, Gaudette down the middle for years. And I think that is put them in a really good spot.
I also want to nominate Tyler Mott as well. I don't think he's getting enough, even in Canucks Twitter, I don't think he's getting enough recognition. I would like to know, I'd like to do some research on what the record is when he scores, because I know that we've been making jokes about Louis Eriksson's record when the Canucks score, but I feel like this team has been better with Edler and Mott in the lineup, and when they're not in the lineup, it's been a significant difference, especially from the fourth line.
Yeah, I'm sure Sean fully agrees with that.
Tyler Mott, like in today's day and age with all the analytics and over-analysis with the numbers, the fourth line grinder gets completely underrated and completely overlooked. And someone like Tyler Mott, who just works his tail off every shift, every game, and he's like that fourth line with Tyler Mott, Tim Shaw, Tyler Mott, and Jay Beagle. More often than not, that fourth line has been really good, and they've found ways to stay in the offensive zone more often than not. So, yeah, Tyler Mott's contribution to the Canucks is definitely underrated and is not spoken enough of.
How about for the Flames? What's been kind of the stories that are not being, what's been under told?
I think going back to what we were talking about with Mark Giordano, and like I said, like if you were to ask a Flames fan your thoughts on Mark Giordano, we would probably tell you that we're not happy with him, but it doesn't seem to be brought up. Like it doesn't seem to be really talked about. Yeah, like and even just said like in general, like rumblings, like not. I've seen it like kind of like maybe pop up on things like Reddit and Discord, like the kind of little more underground communities, but I don't even see it that much even on the more widespread Twitter either. So
yeah, deal for sure. But I'm gonna throw in Elias Lindholm as the number one center. He has not been talked about enough. That trade that Trierling did with Carolina, that's been unbelievably underrated in, I guess, Twitterverse, media. You have Elias Lindholm, who is just an amazing 200-foot player, but he can finish. Man, every time he's on the ice, you know he's on the ice. You see him. He doesn't take a shift off. He cares. He's an emotional player. Not in the sense of going overboard, but for instance, going back to the first time he was back in Carolina doing the Viking clap after Calgary won. You know, like he's fiery, but he knows when to tone it down. And I think him immersing as the number one center has not been talked about enough.
Do you think there's been some criticism of this. Do you think the Lindholm-Tkachuk comparison to Bergeron-Marchand is a fair comparison? What do you think of that?
Fair. I mean, Bergeron was first ballot Hall of Famer. I mean, hardly really.
One of the top 10 of the decade, I would say.
God, easily. And even he's underrated for what he's done. And he's talked about so much.
Yeah.
It's a comparison, but a fair comparison, maybe not. Tkachuk and Lindholm are still young. Bergeron and Marchand are kind of not in their twilight. Obviously, they're still dominant pairing in the NHL, but you can see the comparison, but like it's not a fair one.
It's like in terms of style, maybe that's what Jeff Ward is looking for, but you can't have. They're not there.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. I mean, Bergeron with Lindholm, both defensive centers, both can produce. Tkachuk and Marchand is pesky, offensive-minded players, and definitely able to get under the other team's skin. Yeah, for sure.
I would also just like to echo what Devin was talking about. As a Canucks fan, the first game I saw Lindholm in a Flames jersey, I was blown away. It was an immediate impact on that team.
That trade's been a win-win for both teams, though.
I would agree.
Dougie Hamilton has been a very good fit in Carolina.
I think Dougie prospered in Carolina.
I mean, Dougie Hamilton, he is an amazing player. He was phenomenal when he was with us. I mean, obviously there's the dressing room issues of a traditional hockey market compared to a non-traditional hockey market, and that seems like that's the biggest difference for him to really flourish. But I mean, we got two great players. I mean, Hanifin, I think he's underrated in the sense that he's almost. I gotta look at how many games he's almost played, but I'm pretty sure it's almost. I can't even say it. I don't know, but I know he's played a lot.
He's been the Flames' best defenseman this year.
Hanifin for sure. He's underrated, but I don't know. It's you lost Ferland for Carolina. It was a fair trade, yes, but I mean we got two solid players that are locked up long term at a very decent salary. Very decent.
But this is how I look at the Lucic-Neal trade from the Flames' perspective, and this is how I look at it for Carolina. Okay, you're not getting Ferland's production in Carolina, but it's allowed Carolina to have other players emerge, like a Giovanni, or allow them to be different, which I think is part of why they win the trade. And Dougie playing the way he is certainly helped. Even in Calgary, if you're going to look at stats, obviously the Oilers won the trade with Neal versus Lucic. But Neal not here has allowed Mangiapane to play, has allowed other things to happen. That's why I think Carolina, it's been a win-win trade for both.
They also moved to Adam Fox for a pick as well.
Yeah.
In that deal as well.
That's right.
I mean, fair, but would you rather have Lindholm and Hanifin, or would you rather have Dougie Hamilton?
Well, you would probably have Lindholm and Hanifin, but would you, like... Sure. From that point, I see what you're saying, but it's allowed Carolina to beat Carolina.
Well, which is fair, and I guess like it depends on where your team is at and what stage are they at in their development. When is win now? And you know, rolling the dice on Adam Fox, sure, but everybody knew he was going to New York.
But they still got a pick out of that. Carolina did.
Yeah. Do we know what pick? I don't know.
It was a second rounder.
Second rounder? Next year? This year? 2020, 21?
This next year.
This next year? Deep draft? Sure, depends on what comes out of that. And it's fun to look at draft or, trade trees and where everybody sits after everything.
Can't mean they still haunt the Canucks to this day.
Just when Fox is out there with Noah Hanifin, he's the green jacket leader for the Flames right now. He's a dash 19.
Man, if I was often, that's beautiful. Yeah, which is fair. I mean, you're going to have that, though. I mean, he's still a young defenseman. Like, he's younger than Rasmus Anderson. Think about that. Like, that blows my mind. Even though he has more games in the NHL, he's still a second-line defenseman on any team. So, I don't know. It's hard to say. It is a win-win trade. But as far as where Carolina is to where Calgary is, I'd still take Lindholm and Hanifin, because both of those players are underrated in who they are and what they do for our team. Not discounting what Dougie Hamilton does for Carolina, because obviously he has a hell of a shot and a great defenseman. So yeah, it's
right. I think Carolina is one of those teams that I don't think people are giving enough attention that I think could represent the East in the Stanley Cup. But even when you look at, like, to flip this around a little bit, like, I don't think people have talked enough about how Tampa is missing JT Miller, because they have not been the same without him, for sure. And yes, they're going to get a first-round pick, but they're not the same team this year that they were last year. And there are probably a number of reasons for that, but maybe not having the presence of JT Miller could be one of them. But before we get to moments, who has, in terms of long-term, who's in better shape, the Canucks or the Flames?
Long-term?
Yes.
2-3 years?
Yes.
Canucks. I don't think it's even close.
The personal biases are affect this question, I think, but I don't know enough about the Flames prospect pool to comment on that one. But I mean, it feels to me like the Canucks have a little more in the waiting right now than Calgary does.
I want Sean to expand on his quick knee-jerk reaction to saying that.
Because I actually don't think it's as far as you think.
Totally.
The way I look at it is the Canucks have one of the best goalies right now in Markstrom. They've got Demko coming up. They've got DiPietro coming up. On the blue line, they've got Brogan Rafferty, who's going to win the Rookie of the Year in the AHL. He's leading, as a rookie, he's leading the AHL defenseman in points. And he's in the top 10 of points in the AHL totally. You've got wild card in Ole Huolevi. Yes, they should have picked Matthew Tkachuk at that point. I'll get that in. I'll get that in before you guys can.
Absolutely.
But he could still become a really good top 6, top 4 defenseman for the Canucks in years. And then you look up front. They've got one of the most exciting players in the NHL right now, Elias Pettersson. They've got Brock Besser, Bo Horvat, JT Miller's come in and become really good. They've got Colson, Hoglander, both looking really good. They've got Cole Lind's taking the next step in Utica. They've got Tyler Madden looking really good in NCAA. And all they need is two of those guys to turn out into top 6 forwards, and they're looking great. And they've got a 1-2-3 punch down the middle that a lot of teams would be very jealous of in terms of age, youth, and the way they all approach the game. That's where I'm coming from. I understand that I'm maybe a little gung-ho on the Canucks future right now, but that's where I'm at.
Do I get to respond? I think the Flames are going to be one of those teams that are going to wear a black hat for years to come, and teams are going to start hating to play them. You look at a guy like Jacob Pelche, he's not an easy guy to play against. He's more Shandish, but maybe with a bit more class. Hopefully, more class. You got I can't pronounce his name right now.
Zagula?
Yeah. You got Glenn Gawdin and Matthew Phillips, who I think are great two-way players. You got Buddy Robinson. You have Tkachuk here for a while, and he's going to wear a suit. You got Lindholm here for a while. You probably, if you're trading Monahan, you're probably going to get a lot for him. I am concerned about the Flames' defense, but I mean, I'll give it to the Canucks, but I don't think it's as far, it's not a blowaway right now. I think that there's some quiet prospects in Calgary that are going to come up, and I think it's going to be very hard to play the Flames in a few years.
I agree. There's also a smaller guy named Luke Philp who has a lot of skill coming up in the ranks. And one thing that I think everybody is forgetting is Juuso Valimaki.
Yeah.
And how the Flames have missed his development this year, even though this will be his second season. It sounds like he's going to be coming back sooner than we think, which is great, and hopefully that happens, knock on wood. But I think not having that, he is a top 4 defenseman in the NHL right now, period.
Yeah.
And not having him involved with this discussion, I think would be a shame.
Yeah. Sure. So I think it's I would give it to the Canucks, but I think it's closer than people think.
Yeah, as a Canucks fan, like I will be with Sean and say that I'm more hyped on the Canucks than I am on the Flames, but I will also admit that hearing the Flames side of the argument, it's probably a lot closer than a biased Canucks fan would probably want to admit.
The Flames prospects, and it's not to knock them or anything, but they're all more projects and mid to late round picks, while the Canucks have Pod Coles in the top 10 pick. You've got Hoglander, who's playing like a first round pick. Tyler Madden's playing like a first round pick these days. I think the Canucks have higher end skill. Anything with Pod Coles and Hoglander specifically, you're saying that the Flames will be hard to play against. That's one thing that hasn't been really talked about a lot, because everyone's been so just gung-ho about the skill of those two, especially Hoglander. They are mean, brash players. I think Hoglander's already been suspended in the SHL for some nasty elbows. So he's got some edge to him. And you're saying that Peltier's got a little bit more shine in him? I've heard that's been said about Hoglander as well.
And let's be honest, Pod Colson is going to be a bull on the ice.
No, sure. I'm not disputing that for sure. You want to call it Colson for sure. But the Flames don't have that high height, but they have they're quietly moving.
It's those quieter, like, late round picks and all that. It's like, I'm excited to see what Dustin Wolf does. Like, that kind of last round pick. He didn't even think he was going to get picked. Like, it'll be. I like those stories more of like watching these late rounders, because like some of our top rounders are just not really panned out. Like, I don't know if Bennett really panned out at all, or Jankowski especially. Like,
Jankowski's are the Flames lead errors, except not the contact.
It's valid. See, the thing is that we have Tommy Parsons as well, and we don't know who he is. He's been injured the past couple years, so he hasn't really had a full season. The one thing is they don't know, obviously, if they're going to sign Markstrom. Helps you not really betting if he doesn't. He proves more to me that he's more of an idiot than smart.
I'll make an argument for not signing Markstrom.
Yeah, it's totally wrong though.
Well, how long do goalies last in the NHL now? I'm not saying don't sign him, but I do think you're not going to throw the bank at him.
Oh.
But he's going to be wanting it with his numbers that he's putting up right now. I mean, he'll be taking a quote unquote hometown discount if he stays. But then you have Demko, who's he's proving that he can possibly step in. You have DiPietro. You also have that. What's your third guy? You have DiPietro and one other guy, don't you? Another goalie.
Healy?
Yeah.
Well, he's more depth than anything else.
Valid. So I don't know. I'd say let him go and see how Demko runs with it. To be honest, because look at Bobrovsky. He's making what, $11 million a year, 11.5, and look what he's doing down in Florida. And he won a Vezina. You know, Markstrom hasn't really. He's proven the last 2 years that he can play in the NHL, but you know, I'd say let him walk personally.
The wild card with all this is the expansion draft.
Right.
Because we have both Demko and DiPietro that we're both high on. If we want to, like, DiPietro probably is not going to be vulnerable to the draft, but Demko definitely will be, so how can we not, like, protect Demko? I would say, I agree with you, and say let Martin walk.
Let's look at this. Like, I think the comparison is Semyon Varlamov. What the contract he got this past summer. He got 4 years at $5 million. Do you sign Markstrom to that?
That would be fine.
As long as there's no move clause and you can expose them for the draft, I think you do.
I just want to make a comment about Demko. I mean, we're on a very small sample size here with Demko. I mean, everybody in Canuck land loved Corey Schneider, and look where he is now. He's not. Is he even on the NHL roster right now? So let's go easy on the Demko thing. He has been very solid and he's come in in the backup role, but it's still pretty early to say, that he is a bona fide NHL goalie. Now, as Chris points out, what do you do with the expansion draft? I mean, I think if it comes down to it, you have to probably protect Demko over Markstrom, but let's go easy on the Demko.
Fair. And the other side of this, too, with the Canucks, and we were talking about this on Friday during the Flames-Oilers game a little bit. What does Pettersson take? Pettersson's going to make bank. Like, Pettersson's going to make money. We're not going to dispute that. There's no question. And Quinn Hughes is going to make money. But are they willing to take a little bit less if they see the potential for a cup run? Are they willing to do the, like I know that we're heroing Nathan McKinnon, but I mean, not like looking at it, he's still making a hell of a lot of money. Like, come on, $10 million or whatever he's making.
Well, he's still going to go $10+ million in his next contract.
Yeah, he's not impoverished.
But that's big reason why making the playoffs this year and building on it next year is going to be huge. Because if you start doing that, then you can really start to show that to Hughes and Pettersson that we are building something here.
They can sell that legitimate plan in the future.
If you're not doing that, then how can you sell that? Right. So.
From his interviews of, limited interviews of what I've seen of PD, it sounds like he wants to win. It doesn't sound like he's good at pulling Austin Matthews or a Marner. Yeah. Nylander. Yeah, let's keep going down the list, guys. Yeah.
Well, dude that said he would sign him, so it's like,
he's not a liar. But, I mean, as far as, Nathan McKinnon, remember, his contract was signed after I think he had 56 points in the year before. And so it was a bit of a reach. It was very similar to Sean Monahan's deal. But I think that if Elias Pettersson, I think he knows that the Canucks are going to do very well, and I think that he will take that discount to win and to make a name for himself. And if he does that, watch Hughes follow with that, right? I truly believe that he is one that wants to win, like David Pastrnak took that discount because he could be making bank right now, but he's not because he's like, I just want to play hockey and I want to win, period. End of story. So.
Well, you'd hope for Petey that, he was picked 5th overall in his draft. He probably deep down feels he should have gone higher in that draft. The Canucks gave him the chance. You would hope that would play into some loyalty factor there, but we'll see. I mean, contract negotiations are difficult. I think are we all in agreement that Pettersson would be the highest paid guy on the Canucks team once he resigns?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so, it's just a matter of how high does that contract go.
Mm-hmm. So, Well, quickly, just before we get into memories, we'll talk about where the rivalry is at, because I did a poll, which is the best Western Canadian rivalry, and the Flames-Oilers appear to be winning, which I was a little surprised, because we have the Flames-Canucks playoff series happen more often. Where is this rival? Where is the Canucks-Flame rivalry right now?
I feel like it's definitely cooled off from its heyday of like early 2000s for sure. But with both teams on the upswing right now, it could be heating up again. Only the future will tell.
We haven't had two Western teams be good for a while now. The Canucks were good, and the Flames weren't, and the Oilers weren't, and now the Oilers had the one season, and the Canucks and Flames weren't good, and now the Flames are good. Now we've got all three of them are pushing now, so I think we're going to start seeing them heat up a bit now. But I think of recent memory, I would say the Canucks and Flames have been a little more heated than the other two.
I don't know, I think like Flames and Canucks fans maybe like we're all just all sick of hearing about Connor McDavid, so
all nervously looking at
but I mean, you never know. Like I don't know, maybe I just have more respect for the Canucks, maybe because I just happen because I'm on this podcast and there's a little bit of bias of like how I just watch more Canucks and have more respect for them. But I really don't like Connor McDavid and I'm sick of hearing his stupid face, so that might be my rivalry.
Wow.
And I'm never going to be invited back on Oilers 5OC ever again.
I'm not going to make you say that on
This is being brought to you by Heidi.
I feel like last year the Flames-Oilers games were pretty spicy for the most part. It's kind of cooled off. Well, I mean, Friday was the first meeting of the two this year, so we'll see how that matchup goes later on in the season. Canucks Flames. I don't know. It feels like during the regular season it's pretty tame, but they've had playoff meetings in recent memory. There was 2015, there was 2004, there was 1994 before that, 1989, going back even further. And all 7-game series except for 2015. That was a 6-game series won by the Flames. So there's been enough playoff history between the Canucks and
let's see how today goes. We might have to change my opinion. Alright, enough showing up that. Jeez.
Going down the history list of every single. No, I think history will always be Battle of Alberta. But I think that the Canucks Flames will always have that heated rivalry because of 2004 and the whole Ferkland ordeal a couple years back. But I don't know. I'd say the Oilers and Flames, Oilers and Flames for sure have the top of it.
All right, that's interesting. Sure. So, as we close off here, what is your favorite Flame Canuck moment? What is that moment that you're like, that was my favorite moment?
Okay, I guess I'll go first. So, back when the Canucks were probably at their peak for that 2010-2011 team, I want to say it was Kiprusoff's final year in the league. I was at Rogers Arena, row 1, down by the face-off dot, and that was the game that Henrik tipped the pass down to Daniel, and he scored in between his legs on Kiprusoff. And I was like right at ice level, about 40 feet away. So for me, that's by far my favorite Flames Canucks moment.
As far as excitement, I mean, obviously Barrett in '94 winning that series was great, but stepping back a little bit and just like really neat moments, unique moments between the Canucks and Flames. I go back to 2008, Trevor Linden's final game. I mean, the Flames absolutely smoked the Canucks that night. The Canucks were not making the playoffs. Jerome McGinley gets his 50th goal in that game. And the Flames are moving on to the playoffs, but, McGinley led the way in making that about Trevor Linden. And the Flames all came back out and shook hands with Trevor, and a really nice moment at the end of the game. And I just thought from a a broader hockey perspective and what it's supposed to be about with class and everything. That was a really nice evening there between the Canucks and Flames.
One of the big reasons why I love Iginla, and for me to, as a Canucks fan, to say that takes a lot.
Yeah, that was a real cool moment. Mine would be April 19th, 2004, Game 7, Calgary versus Vancouver. Oh, the looks I just got from
here now.
Totally. Jean scoring an OT. I remember I was watching the game, and that was the coolest moment that I can remember from Canucks versus Flames.
So how did you feel moments earlier when the Canucks tied it there, Lee?
Especially when it was Matt Cook, I hated it.
I was throwing hats and stuff at the TV. That was
probably that goal for the Flames was probably one of the more significant goals in history, because the Flames were actually literally in trouble in this city at that time. Not like they had to do a Save Our Flames ticket run that year, and then Daryl Sutter made all the moves for Chris Simon and Billy Neiman, and they needed that run.
They needed that run, let alone that game was massive, because the game earlier, Brendan Morrison scored an OT in Calgary to make it go to a 7th game.
Being like that, we're just going to pull out exact dates. April 25th, 2015. Game 6. I believe that was Game 6.
Game 6.
Game 6. The Flames versus Canucks. That is the only playoff game I've ever been to. And I think during that time, I think maybe I'd only been to 3 Flames games before that in my entire life. So I remember showing up to that game late. I found a picture on Instagram that I took a picture. I could see the score, and it was 3-1 for the Canucks at that time when I finally got into the game. So I was not very happy about that. But just I know that so many memorable things happened during that game, but all I really remember is just how loud that place was, and just that's for me, with a whole bunch of other stuff that's happened, I think that's going to definitely go down to being one of my favorite. That's one of my favorite hockey memories.
That was the year that Stajan lost his child as well.
Yes, I believe that was.
And he also, I believe, scored that game.
I think he did. I think that was that same game. Yeah.
Before I get to mine, I just have to laugh at Devin, because I think we were both on that same. We were always on the couch with him watching that game. Like I said, I was throwing hats at the TV, so I wasn't happy. And then for the game that Heidi was talking about, I was actually here at the Pig and Duke, and the Pig and Duke was split 50-50 Canucks and Flames fans, and that was a fun night, other than the brutal score. But going to mine has actually nothing to do with any game or anything like that. No, it was 2004. I was a grade 12 in high school, and the principal of my high school was a Canucks fan. He knew I was a Canucks fan, so I was sitting in class, and he walks in and motions for me to come and leave the class. And when the principal does that, you never really know what's going on. And so you get everyone does the ooh as they do that, and then but he goes. I go into the hallway, and he hands me a Canucks t-shirt, because he was in Vancouver over the weekend, and he got a t-shirt and gave it to me. So I immediately put it right on, and walk right back into class wearing a Canucks shirt, and I'm getting booed. And that was just it's hilarious. It just fits the Canucks and Flames rivalry perfectly.
Yeah.
And that is, in essence, what it's like to be a Canucks fan in this city.
I'll also say another one of my favorites, just because it's family. Our Devin's and my cousin Matt was going to U of A, and he came down for a Flames Canucks game. And we came, same thing, we came here to the Pig and Duke, because where else do we go to watch hockey? And we're walking down the street, and all of a sudden this car pulls up like beside us, window rolls down, and next thing you know, it's like, Canucks suck! And I just turned to my cousin, like, welcome to Calgary.
Yeah.
On that note, just another fun story of Flames and Canucks. Last year, I won tickets through Flames Nation, just putting my name on Instagram, won it randomly, and I thought it was a complete joke, because who wins those, really? But I was in Richmond. That's where they had us there. So they flew us out there, my girlfriend and I. We were both wearing Flames jersey, and we're in Richmond, and the exact same thing happened. We're at a red light. This guy pulls up. Flames suck! And he actually did a burnout and ripped off. Yeah. So, yeah, it happens both ways.
Very Richmond.
I actually want to add to that sort of thing. So, it was 2005 or 2006. It was fairly recently after the Flames run. And I was headed down to the C train station to go make my way over to the Dome for the game. I'm wearing my Canucks hat, my Canucks jersey. I'm walking south on 14th. There's this cute van that comes to a complete stop in the road, leans across his empty cab, rolls down the window, pulls out 2 middle fingers, goes, "Fuck you!" Stops traffic behind him, and then takes time to roll it back up and then go on his merry way. So yeah, that is definitely the experience of what it's like to be a fan in an opposing city.
You should be a fan of the opposition in Regina when the Rough Riders are playing.
Oh,
that's quite something.
I don't think you're allowed to.
Oh, the fans there, I was wearing the orange. I don't know if it was a tangent 2014, but they kept pointing the direction back to the airport for us.
I've never responded. You have an airport? Wow, that's neat.
Just going back to 2004, it was a lot of fun at that time to be watching hockey. I was a UBC student, my second year. A lot of BC people from around the province were all gathered there. We're watching the game on like a little 12-inch TV or something super small, and Naslund's taking the puck up the ice, and the clock's ticking away. I'm like, he doesn't have time, and somehow Cook scores, and it's just complete pandemonium. And we actually, a couple of guys hurt themselves falling over the furniture, trying to get at each other and stuff. And those are the kinds of moments that make sports so much fun. And then, of course, when the Canucks did not win in the overtime, the deflation and the dejection and just the highs and lows. And, I don't know. I don't think that those half-hour stretch of time will ever just the opposite of that.
Yeah, and the city here, I remember this. I was living up in the far northwest, and you could hear the honks just forever. It was there was honking all night. It was probably one of the biggest wins in the franchise, other than '86. It was other than a Stanley Cup moment. It was wow.
Yeah. I mean, I had come around to the idea of it'd be nice to see the Flames winner get a Canadian Stanley Cup winner again. And it's always so close yet so far, right? And for everybody that thinks Gary Bettman's got it rigged against Canadian teams or whatever, hey, the Flames were a clean goal away from handing out the cup that week. So
that was
a heck of a run.
That was in.
Yeah. Well, but even despite that, I mean, in the overtime, it goes one way differently. Suddenly, it's a Flames Stanley Cup, right?
All those were great. The one I'll add, and maybe the goal was kicked in, maybe it's not, but there were 2 moments for the Vancouver one. I was at the '94 game when Burry scored the triple overtime. He made the move. He blew around James Patrick, blew Vernon out, and scored. That was a comeback win. The Flames were playing far too passive that game. But '89, the save that Vernon made on both Tony Tanti and Stan Smeel, at the time, Mike Vernon was villainized because the year before they got swept by the Oilers. They got blown out, swept by the Oilers. It was an embarrassing moment, and Vernon was on the tail end of being he would have had to have been run out of town, and that was almost that game redeemed him because without that goal doesn't happen, and the Flames do not win the cup. So those 2 saves are probably 2 of the better saves in history. And a Kipper moment yes, I remember when Daniel did the move, but Kipper made, I can't remember what game it was, but he made a save on Daniel Sedin that he was way out of position. He found the stick, he stretched it out and knocked it.
The paddle save.
The paddle save was, yeah. But, yeah, lots of great memories, for sure. Is there anything we want to add before we...
Well, just like Devin's on me about showing off history. What about you, Kevin? Holy smokes.
Yeah, but I'm 943 years old.
Bring up Tony Tanti. Holy moly.
Yeah. I was there in 94.
I was at that game, too. Yeah. Well, this is great. Great to have everybody here.
Yep.
Thanks, Manny, for manning that. Sorry we made Connor McDavid takes. And
I have other issues.
But we fully appreciate your services.
yes. We didn't even get into the Oilers. We'll have to do that at another time.
No, don't. I'll describe.
All right. Where do we follow everyone?
I am Barrett Hayton on Twitter.
I'm at Heidi Baseballs on Twitter, Instagram, and everywhere else on social media.
I'm on Twitter at T Noble.
I'm on Twitter and all the other social medias at Schneids.
I'm KDOLE, Devin.
I am at GordHallow9. I've changed it, so please follow me. I have 10 followers.
Okay, we need to do something about that. We need to get everyone. Yeah. But honestly, you guys, it's been a great year. It's been a lot of fun doing this podcast. Been good for my mental health. And I think worked out very well, and I'm honored that we got to do this. I think this is coming down one of my favorite podcasts. Just not because, getting us all here, bringing us all together.
Yeah, as a Calgarian Canuck fan, it is an honor to have both of you guys here.
Yeah.
I feel very welcome. It's great.
Right. But go ahead.
Sorry, this is just proof that sports really does bring people together, even though we are provinces apart, and we do have an Oilers producer. It really shows that we all love the game, and it's a pleasure to have you guys here.
Yeah. And follow the Oilers YYC podcast. When's your next recording? Sometime in the new year. But you've had some good guests on too, so I think next week we'll do the all-decade memories. I think that's fair. Will we understand anything? All right. Thanks, Manny. Thanks, Peter Duke. Thanks, Steven. Thanks, Drew. Thanks, Dustin. We'll talk to you all soon. Bye for now.